Ibrahim Traoré, the president redefining Africa's rules. Who really is Captain Ibrahim Traoré? A Pan-African hero, a modern revolutionary, or simply an ambitious soldier? In just a few months, he has become one of the most striking figures on the African continent. Admired by some, criticized by others, he represents a turning point in West Africa's recent political history. In this video, we dive into his journey, examine his rise to power, and explore why he captivates so many. The journey of a quiet soldier turned popular icon. Ibrahim Traoré was born in 1988 in Bondoukoui, in the Boucle du Mouhoun region of Burkina Faso. From a young age, he stood out for his discipline, calm nature, and intelligence. After earning his high school diploma, he enrolled at the University of Ouagadougou, where he studied geology, an unusual path for a future head of state, but one that speaks to his love for science and precision. However, he soon chose a different route: the military. He was admitted to the prestigious Georges Namoano Military Academy in Po, joined the armed forces, and quickly rose through the ranks. As a captain, he specialized in elite units, particularly those fighting terrorist groups in the country's volatile northern regions. It was on the ground, in action, that he built his reputation. A man of the field, courageous, close to his troops, and deeply committed to national sovereignty. In 2020, he was deployed to the north of Burkina Faso, one of the country's most unstable zones. There, he experienced firsthand the failures of the national security system and the limitations of foreign aid. This period solidified a belief within him: Burkina Faso must reclaim its destiny, free from foreign dependency. The power grab of September 30th, 2022, coup d'état or popular revolution. On September 30th, 2022, amid extreme tension, Ibrahim Traoré seized power by ousting Lieutenant Colonel Paul-Henri Sandaogo Damiba, who himself had come to power through a coup just months earlier. The takeover was swift, largely bloodless, and widely supported. In the streets of Ouagadougou, demonstrators celebrated the young captain. Portraits of revolutionary icon Thomas Sankara reappeared in rallies. Why such support? For many Burkinabe citizens, Damiba had failed to address worsening insecurity. Despite the presence of French forces and other Western partners, deadly terrorist attacks continued. Traoré, in contrast, promised radical change, a break from the status quo, stronger alliances with neighboring Sahel countries like Mali and Niger, also led by patriotic military figures, and above all, an end to foreign domination. His rise to power wasn't merely a military coup, it was a popular movement with revolutionary undertones. Youth, students, workers, and even religious leaders saw in him a new Sankara. He spoke little, acted fast, and made bold moves, expelling French troops, nationalizing key projects, and building new partnerships with Russia, Turkey, and China. His message, his decisions, and the Traoré effect on Africa. Since assuming leadership, Ibrahim Traoré has made strong, unfiltered speeches against imperialism and in favor of African sovereignty. At just 34, he has become a leading voice in modern Pan-Africanism. At events like the Russia-Africa Summit or regional press briefings, he doesn't mince words. He accuses former colonial powers of exploiting Africa's resources, criticizes ECOWAS's inefficiency, and calls for unity among the peoples of the Sahel. His bold stance has made him hugely popular, especially among African youth. Clips of his speeches go viral. Songs, music videos, and artwork in his image circulate widely. To many, he represents resistance to the global order, a symbol of the self-determination that so many African leaders have lacked. But popularity comes at a price. On the diplomatic front, his choices have isolated Burkina Faso from Western spheres of influence. His break with France, in particular, has led to tensions, sanctions, and economic challenges. Still, Traoré is betting on the resilience of his people and on South-South cooperation to fill the gap. He's focusing on youth, agriculture, mining, and better management of national resources. Critics point to his lack of political experience, his centralization of power, and a governance style that leans too heavily on military structures. Supporters, on the other hand, praise his clarity, his bravery, and his ability to embody hope. A charismatic figure between hope and challenge. Ibrahim Traoré is not your typical president. He didn't graduate from elite Western schools. He's not part of the traditional political elite. He wasn't elected, but he has public support. He doesn't have a polished manifesto, but he takes concrete action. He doesn't ask for permission. He speaks for a people who have suffered for too long. A charismatic figure between hope and challenge. Ibrahim Traoré is not your typical president. He didn't graduate from elite Western schools. He's not part of the traditional political elite. He wasn't elected, but he has public support. He doesn't have a polished manifesto, but he takes concrete action. He doesn't ask for permission. He speaks for a people who have suffered for too long. His rapid rise, his youth, his candid rhetoric, and his geopolitical stance make him a symbol for a generation seeking direction. But the challenges ahead are immense. Can he stay the course in a hostile international climate without slipping into populism or authoritarianism? For now, Ibrahim Traoré is reshaping the rules of governance in Africa. He reminds the world that African people can choose their own future. They can dream, but they can also act. Burkina Faso's young leader has opened a new chapter. Time will tell if history sides with him. Subscribe to Globe Leaders and Stars. Like and share for more portraits of the leaders and stars shaping our era.